the EFF views MK very differently. We wanted that move could literally cause, divisions and how EFF felt about MK.
Okay. That was number 4. All right, I will give to the panel to respond, in particular Advocate Dali Mpofu, whilst if maybe there are no other questions that are not covered, we'll have a second bite. Advocate, over to you.
Okay, thank you. Yes, look, the reason why we called this media conference was to highlight the first anniversary of MK. So that's the main business of the day. Some of the issues that you are raising have been addressed or will be addressed in the appropriate forums of the organization. But I will touch on them. I'm just highlighting the fact that of why we're here. And it's important to view even those questions that you are raising in their proper perspective. As we heard from the statement, this is a new organization which is 11 months old and is now going for its first anniversary. So we're talking about really a baby in terms of politics, which had to learn fast because the people of South Africa gave it such an overwhelming mandate, something unprecedented. There's no party that entered politics and attained almost 15%. In fact, it doubled the record that was set by COPE in 2009, which got 7%. So that's really the issue. So even these developments that you are raising must be looked at in that context. The introduction of a new player in the South African political landscape has to affect everybody, literally. There's no single political party in this country that is unaffected by the emergence of this new giant organization. And that is why we're celebrating the first anniversary in the kind of spirit that we are. And that is why we have chosen the places where we got the highest votes, or which you might call the strongholds. So in Mpumalanga, as we heard last week, we're going on 500,000 votes, which is an unprecedented number. So that's the context. So naturally, when that happens, because politics is a competitive space, so all our competitors have to now adjust to the reality that there's this new baby that has come into the mix. The things that we have emphasized in our constitution are about building unity, progressive unity, and black unity in particular in South Africa and on the continent. And it is also about what we call total liberation, which means political, economic, spatial, knowledge, cultural, you name it, but total liberation. So that's also a new thing that is being introduced in the South African political landscape. So the people who are operating in those spaces obviously will also feel a bit affected. So the Progressive Caucus, to come to your specific question, Junior and Susanna, the Progressive Caucus is the first of those projects. So Parliament is a particular site of struggle, if you like. And therefore, it's much easier because those people, unlike here in the community, it's more difficult to organize people. Those people are already there. There are only 400 of them. And so it was logical that the Progressive Caucus in Parliament should be the starting point. And that is going very well. It's continuing. And we're hoping that from that, the spirit of unity will grow, be taken out into the communities and various other activities. So there's no threat to the Progressive Caucus. Remember that MK is the largest player in the Progressive Caucus in Parliament with 58 MPs. So in a way, MK is being the largest. It has to give direction. And we're hoping that not only to maintain the Progressive Caucus, but to grow it. Because some of the organizations that found themselves on the wrong side of the divide, such as the PAC, the UDM, and others, actually belong to this side. You'll remember when the Progressive Caucus was announced on the 14th of June, those organizations were sitting at the table. And so that's the spirit in which the Progressive Caucus will be approached. As far as, look, the organization has made itself clear about the polemics or debates with other organizations. Our approach is very simple. Our members, and this is in our constitution, are enjoined by the constitution itself not to respond to any provocation, and in particular, not to attack other progressive forces. If other people want to do that, that's fine. That is their decision. It's a free country. But we will not be falling into that trap. You know, where we are now here, those of us who are old enough to have been in this space, in the 80s, know that this place we're in here was standing on the blood of people. That this particular area in KZN, thousands and thousands and thousands of our people died for nothing because of so-called political rivalry. So we shall never participate in fomenting that kind of history. And we will never regard any organization, let alone a progressive one, as our enemy. The word enemy is a very strong one. It's used only when you intend to do certain things in politics. There's a difference between opponents and rivals and enemies. So we do not take the position of calling any black person our enemy because they are our fellow oppressed people. Yeah, the issue of the tensions, I don't think people should exaggerate tensions, as I say. Tensions in politics, as I say, it's a competitive space. You know, we're all competing for the same voter pool, so to speak. So, you know, now and again, there'll be that kind of jostling. As long as we all ensure that we do not escalate that into something else, because that this country cannot afford it. Yeah. That's really all I can say about those questions.
Thank you, Advocate. I don't know if maybe the leadership, there's something that you want to... No. Okay.